Good morning. Thank you so much to the family and friends of Corporal Michael Cohen for joining us this morning. I'm State Senator Kristin Phillips-Hill, and it is an honor to represent more than 250,000 York Countyans in the Senate of Pennsylvania. What a special day to celebrate the life, service, and sacrifice of one of our local heroes, a Dallastown grad and a proud Marine. And I'd like to express our gratitude to several special guests who have joined us today. First and foremost, Michelle Godfrey, Michael's sister, and the other members of Michael's family, including his mom and dad, who could be here with us today. I also want to thank Mr. Bob Gannot, who first brought this fitting tribute to a local hero to my attention. And thank you to retired United States Marine Corps Colonel, who also serves as the 101st District State Representative, Frank Ryan, for joining us today. It means so much to the entire community that you could be here. And while this ceremony is for the family and friends and fellow servicemen and women, we are also joined by a community of patriots online as well, because everyone in York County agrees that Michael's legacy should always be remembered by our community. As a result, the bill we shepherded through the legislative process was signed into law on July 1st of this year. The community's outpouring of support was overwhelming, and the impact that Michael had on each and every one of us is on full display here today. Michael is the absolute definition of bravery. I learned that Michael's brothers in arms made a documentary entitled The November War, dedicated to his memory. I watched it in pieces. It was really a lot to take in. It was very real. It was very unvarnished. But it was a first-hand account of that fateful day in November 2004, when Michael Cohen showed us what it means to sacrifice everything for what you believe in and lay down your life for those beliefs and for your brothers. Those who knew Michael, and I've heard some really fun stories here this morning, I am certain would not be surprised by his actions, that he would not only join the Marine Corps and move up his enlistment date, and in the end, our nation is forever indebted to Corporal Michael Cohen for his bravery and his ultimate sacrifice. It's who he was, and I would attribute much of that to his upbringing right here in York County. Michelle, Dr. and Mrs. Cohen, the entire Cohen family, as we honor Michael's service and sacrifice here today, we thank you for sharing such an incredible young man with all of us, and we promise that his memory will never be forgotten. Today's display of community support shows his lasting impact is felt far and wide for generations to come. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you to the Isaac Walton League for opening your property up for this special ceremony today. Today is a very fitting tribute to one of York County's finest, and I thank each and every one of you for being here to honor Michael and support our efforts to make sure that he receives the recognition he earned through his incredible bravery and ultimate sacrifice in service to our Commonwealth and our great nation. And at this time, it is my honor to introduce the Dallastown Junior Reserve Marine Corps Training Unit under the leadership of Major White for the posting of the colors. Please rise.
Color guard. Halt. Present. Colors.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would now like to invite Michelle, Dr. and Mrs. Godfrey, and the entire family to the podium. At this time, we would like to unveil the Corporal Michelle Cohen Memorial Bridge. I would like to welcome Michelle Godfrey, sister of Corporal Cohen, to the podium to share some remarks on her brother. Michelle.
Good morning. I would like to thank everyone joining us today, whether it be in person or virtually. I would also like to thank Senator Phillips-Hill for making all of this possible. I'm Corporal Michelle Cohen's little sister. It feels weird saying that I'm his little sister, since I'm over 10 years older than he ever got to be. A bridge is inherently symbolic of communication and union, whether it be between heaven and earth or two distinct realms. For that reason, it can be seen as a connection between God and man. It may be the passage to reality, or merely a symbol for travel and crossing. I came to Michael's Bridge shortly after learning the bill had been signed into law. Watching my son and my best friend's daughter play in the creek brought back memories of when we would come here fish growing up, and gave me a feeling in my heart that Michael was right there enjoying that moment with us. They say God is all around us. Even those of us that have been through so much pain that we question our belief in God can feel a reason as to why we were put here on earth when enjoying the nature that surrounds this bridge. My hope is that others will pass over this bridge or enjoy the beauty that surrounds it and say Michael's name to honor him. His name will live on, and he will be remembered every day by all of us. But now he will also be remembered by every person that didn't have the honor of knowing him when they cross this bridge and say his name. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. That was lovely. I would now like to welcome to the podium Colonel Frank Ryan, United States Marine Corps, State Representative from the 101st District. And I can think of no one better to offer remarks on a fallen Marine than Representative Ryan.
Good morning, ma'am. Dr. and Mrs. Cohen, Michelle, from the bottom of my heart, you have my heartfelt thank you and sincerest respects for the sacrifices that you have endured. May I ask everyone to please take a seat? If you ever allow a Marine colonel to have a microphone, it's going to be a while. And let alone a politician, it could be here for, I think we could be here, Michael would probably want me to do this for at least an hour or two. What do you think? Doc, man, a few words, but he told me to say hello, so that's the issue. I would like to, and I hope the family will indulge me as we do this, but I think it's important for everyone to know the brotherhood and the sisterhood we have in the United States Marine Corps, and the brotherhood and the sisterhood that we have in the military. And if I might, I'd like to share a little bit what would have happened to your family in the latter part of November when you were notified. May I do that? Okay. And again, please accept my heartfelt condolences on your loss. When there's a casualty that occurs, a casualty officer gets notified, and I've done that. And we were asked to notify the family of the loss of their loved one, their brother, their son, their daughter. And you never know what to expect. And I'll relate an experience of what happened with me. It was in November in the late 1990s, and I received a phone call to do a casualty notification. And you put your dress blue uniform on, and you go to the, and by the way, if I have trouble getting through this, please accept my apologies. Because we become part of your family that day, and I would like to be part of your family. And I know Senator Kristin Phillips-Hill feels that way as well. She's a dear friend and someone who cares deeply about all those who served and their families. But we become united that day. And my Sergeant Major and I, he was the first sergeant at the time, we were told that the Marine who passed away had no children. So we were driving there. We were thinking about what we were going to do. We were in our dress blue uniform. There's a tremendous amount of anxiety on our part when we're getting ready to go. And as we do it, we knew some of the facts about the Marine. He was due to come home shortly. It was around Thanksgiving time, same period of time. And we got to the house and we saw that there were toys outside. And my Sergeant Major and I looked at each other and said, this isn't going to go well. It's called a record of emergency data. It wasn't up to date. He was married, we knew that, but we didn't know his children. We got to the door and we knocked on the door, and a little boy, about 3 or 4 years old, saw me and started screaming, "Mommy, Mommy, Daddy's home." I went, oh God. About that time, the mom came around the corner, saw me and my Sergeant Major in dress blue uniform, knew what the issue was, and then we became united as one in a family. The Marines who saw you that day are forever honored to be part of your family for the sacrifice that you endured. But I'd now like to tell you a different story, if I may, because shortly after Michael passed away, I was called active duty and sent to Iraq. And I want you to know what your son did and the sacrifice that your family suffered, but what you did for 28 million people. On January 30th, 2005, the Iraqi people, for the first time in their lives, were able to vote freely. Because of what happened in the Battle of Fallujah, and it was horrible. It tested the mettle and the soul and the character and the strength of every single person there. Your son is a hero, and you are as well, for the sacrifice that you made for so many people of our nation and theirs. On that day, I was one of the few service members permitted to be at a polling place. And if you remember, anyone who voted dipped their fingers in a purple dye. And the insurgents who had been fighting at Fallujah, that your son defended us against, prevented them from attacking those people who were going to vote. They had the intent of killing anyone who voted. I saw 80-year-old women standing on the side of the road after they voted, proudly holding their hand high because of what your son did and endured. General Naqshbandi and Dr. Samir came to me, and he was in tears because we had 2 casualties the day before. They were 2 killed in action on the 29th. And he came to us and he said, in absolute tears, for the first time in my life, my mom was able to cast a vote the way she wanted to vote. Please tell every family member of those who died. And so I'm telling you, from what I was told on January 30th, 2005, for the sacrifice your son made on November 22nd, 2004, on behalf of the American people and the Iraqi people, that they had the opportunity for the first time to live as free people because of the life and the dedication and the sacrifice of your son and all of those Marines who served with him. No one can ever repay you for the sacrifice, but I guarantee you your son is following in the Marine Corps tradition today, and he's in heaven. He's guarding heaven's gates, and from what I've heard of him, he's probably telling a few jokes, but he's organizing it, I'm fairly certain. So I will tell you on behalf of General Naqshbandi, who was in tears, a hardened Iraqi general, Dr. Samir, who's a Minister of Intelligence and the Minister of the Interior for Iraq, that the Iraqi people knew that because of the sacrifice that happened at the Battle of Fallujah, they were able to vote and live freely. Those same people today, and you may not always see it in what you're seeing in the news, as we hear from them, are eternally grateful. And I would tell you this bridge is a mere reflection, and an incredibly important one, that I hope that we never forget the willingness of Corporal Michael Cohen to lay down his life so that others could live a better life. He willingly sacrificed himself in one of the most horrific battles imaginable in order that people could be free. And I would tell you on behalf of all of us in the House of Representatives, Senator Kristin Phillips-Hill, and myself as a retired United States Marine, I'm forever proud of your brother, your son, and all I would say is God bless you all and Semper Fi.
Thank you, Representative Ryan. At this time, I would like to invite the Dallastown Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps to retire the colors. Please rise.
Color guard. Attention. Gary. Colors. Cut. Counter march. March. Forward. March.
I'm told that Michael was a man of few words. He liked simplicity. This was a very special and meaningful and simple service today. And I'm so very grateful that you have given me the honor of making this happen. So to the Cohen family, thank you. You truly are a blessing to all of us. At this time, the ceremony has ended, and we will invite the Cohen family to take some time and go down and pull the covers off of the signs at the bridge. Thank you so much to all of you for being here today. God bless.